Internationally recognized curator Lance Fung came up with the idea of mounting an exhibition in the streets of his own community while teaching graduate students about art and social engagement. With the help of neighborhood activists and artists, Lance has created a month-long public art event that transforms the Tenderloin into a wonderland.
October brought a rich harvest of art events to San Francisco, starting with the open studios that took place every weekend, where San Francisco artists invited the public into their workspaces, and culminating on October 23rd with the Art in Storefronts project. Sandwiched in between was the Wonderland project, an exhibition that took place in the Tenderloin. And joining me to talk about the Wonderland project is Elaine Zamora, the Executive Director of the North of Market Tenderloin Benefit District. Hi, Elaine.
Hi.
I wanted to know for our viewers, what is it that invited you to get involved with the Wonderland exhibition?
Well, the North of Market Tenderloin Community Benefit District is a property assessment district, and we do several things. We do cleaning in the neighborhood. We also do beautification projects and safety projects. So we're looking at art as being both a form of beautification for the neighborhood, but also a way of bringing people to a place where they're more comfortable on the outdoors by being able to view things on the outdoor. So when Wonderland was introduced to the neighborhood, there was a little skepticism because we weren't sure if it was going to be art that was just sort of brought in and sort of dumped on the neighborhood. But we soon found out that the curator, Lance Fung, was more interested in getting as much neighborhood participation as possible. So that made it attractive to us.
We're standing across the street from the Golden Gate Theater, one of the great commercial theaters of San Francisco, and in front of a building that up until a few days ago had a very different kind of facade on it.
Yes, it did.
What did this place look like before?
This was just a boarded up, pretty shabby looking, blighted piece of property, and the owner was kind enough to let the artists come in and create a mural of their own choosing. So it transformed itself into perhaps a controversial piece of art, but something much, much more pleasant to look at than the blighted, boarded up building.
I would say so.
Yes.
Now I know that you've also, your organization has also been behind creating a number of murals that have been funded through the Community Challenge Grant Program?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, on the corner of Jones and Golden Gate, right up the street, there's a mural being done by Mona Carone. It's a wraparound mural. It goes around the building, and she spent probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 months with the neighborhood, talking to individuals, groups, to get as much information as she could on the neighborhood, and she's incorporated all of that, including individuals from the neighborhood, into that mural. So it's quite impressive. Quite impressive.
Joining me now is the curator of Wonderland, Lance Fung. So Lance, welcome to San Francisco.
Thank you.
And talk to me about your inspiration in launching this exhibition.
Well, I just finished doing a big project in Santa Fe, and I was teaching a graduate course at one of the art schools here, a master level class. And I thought I would, rather than just going in and critiquing their work in their studio and their practices and whatnot, it'd be great to create an exhibition of the student work so they actually have something to put on their resume and they have practical experience.
Now I know that when we met at the Arts Commission and you talked to me about the Wonderland exhibit, one of the things that I got excited about is that this focus and concentration of so many different artists and art events during this period from October 17th to November 15th in the Tenderloin really reinforced sort of the mayor's vision for helping to promote the Tenderloin as a potential art district. And so we really got behind this, and we are so pleased with the way that you were with no budget. You had no budget, right?
And still no budget.
You pulled together, how many artists?
Oh, there are 7, 8 artists who have created the 16 very ambitious public works of art and performances, which then incorporated another 300 artists and performers from within the Tenderloin. And from that 78, of course, there were artists that live and work in the Tenderloin as well. But we're looking at almost 500 people putting together this temporary, ephemeral art event, as you mentioned, up for a month, all volunteering their time, their materials, their labor, and their vision.
Patricia, you're an actress and dancer from Rio de Janeiro.
Yes.
And here you are performing at the Tenderloin exhibition, the Wonderland. How is it that you got involved with this project?
Well, Regina Miranda and I, we were doing a research about journeys and crossing borders. So we were thinking about it when we received the invitation of Wonderland, and then we came to Tenderloin. We started to look at the community, the project, and then we discovered the homeless issues. It's something very important here. And we start to think about the last border, you know, when you don't have a home, where to go, and especially the situation of the women on the streets. So it's something about that.
And the title of your performance is Personal Geographies. So how does personal geographies and that title sort of work its way into the theme of what you're doing?
Yeah, it's something that talks about your pathway through life, spaces and places that you go, and it has a personal, emotional meaning, and also geographical. So we did many interviews with many people here, and we saw that they start in some place and end in another. So it has a kind of a pathway through life, a journey, you know.
And your participation in Wonderland is a little bit unique because it's a site-specific performance on the day of the opening on October 17th. And it actually will take place through the streets of the Tenderloin.
Yeah, Regina is a wonderful choreographer, and she has a huge experience and research in many fields of art. So we think that this is the last frontier. The frontiers between you and me, countries, people, and I think to do the performances on street, especially this one, Personal Geographies, is the best place to do, the only one, you know, to go deeper, to try to get into the issue and touch people and change, you know.
And the performance is interactive a little bit?
Yeah, as all the performances, they have this proposal of put the audience inside the game. Your body is in the game.
I this, man. I'm just saying, guys. I'm saying.
So it's something that can happen.
Like that, very
Like
audience
that.
participation.
Yeah, and we are going to deal. It's something unknown. That's the beauty of art. Also, we never know what's gonna happen.
Could you put yourself in my place for 1 minute?
No. The police force only solves 10% of all murders.
We can go to unknown places, and that's the beauty of art and life. And we are in this border also, art and life, all the time.
Oh, well, we've been working on this project for probably about a year now, and we've been doing workshops with the children here in the Tenderloin community. And those workshops have been drawing based, and we've asked them to draw based on the idea of a house that moves or a home away from home, or primarily a house that moves. And the level of imagination and just, you know, originality that has come out of these young children, probably 8 to 10 years old, is just unbelievable. We've got probably 150 drawings, give or take, that we took and then we made sort of a composite, if you will.
What I love about this project also is that it's actually on PUC property, anchoring sort of the civics, you know, one of the corners of the Civic Center.
That's right.
Where you've got sculptures by Henry Moore and George Rickey, and here we have a fabulous sort of imaginative, you know, response from the kids from the Tenderloin.
That I think for San Francisco continues that whole tradition. I mean, we've gotten the Oldenburgs downtown on the Embarcadero. I mean, it's like there's all this sort of mixture of art elements that I think feed into it. And I think that with the Tenderloin kids being raised in San Francisco. They've seen the George Rickeys, they've seen the Klaus Oldenburgs, they've seen the Sarahs, so their information is already there, and all you got to do is give them a spark. You got to give them an outlet for it, and it's amazing the results you see.
Well, listen, I know that the website, the Wonderland website, will have lots more information about all of the members of your team.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank you, John, for being part of this interview on Culture Wire.
Thank you, Luis, for stopping by.
43% of all trafficked women entering California come through San Francisco. And Jonathan Fung, you are part of a collective that have created this installation called Down a Rabbit Hole. Can you talk to me a little bit about how your installation relates to this issue of human trafficking?
Sure. We wanted to bring awareness and expose human trafficking here in San Francisco, especially the Tenderloin, because it's so prevalent. And so, because I'm an activist, and I would say even a modern day abolitionist, this was a perfect venue to be a part of, to create a space, living environment, working environment of a young girl that's held hostage to perform sexual acts against her will, to be a part of the sex trade industry known as human trafficking.
Could you talk to me a little bit about the installation?
Sure. The installation really, I think, plays on the viewer's emotions because we're using a lot of different types of medium.
One of the sort of haunting parts of your installation is this crib with the image of a child, you know, on a swing on there. And could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. As a filmmaker, I was really thinking about how can we use video? How can we use video installation to be symbolic of what this installation is about? I was thinking, what would the opposite of a girl in this situation be like? And trying to capture her innocence, her childhood, swinging on the swings, playing on the merry-go-round, going across the monkey bars, and never showing her face. We didn't want to show her face. We wanted this to be open to any ethnicity, you know, any type of person could be in this situation.
Jonathan, thank you so much for explaining Down the Rabbit Hole for us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Did she ever come back? Did she?
No.
Turk and Hyde has a lot of significance in that it is the original place, original space that the Black Hawk Jazz Club stood all the way up until 1964. And it was the musicians' place to go, the artists' place to go. It's where everybody hung out. You know, after they've done their gig in Russian Hill and you know, Nob Hill, they'd come to the Black Hawk to hang out.
And that club has served as kind of an inspiration for the theater performance that you are doing for the Wonderland.
Right. Night at the Black Hawk is something I thought of because I imagined the jazz club, the lights going, it's late, and there's a lot of stuff that happens around a club, as we all know. I mean, it's not just what happens inside the club. There's people in their windows, there's people who come to the club every day, there's waitresses, there's waiters, there's the owners. There's a lot of activity that takes place within the vicinity of something like that.
San Francisco Recovery Theater actually draws on sort of the life experiences of the troupe members, correct?
That's true.
How do they do that?
Well, I mean, one of the principles here is that everybody has a message and everybody has something to give. It's very difficult. I try to marry people who've never been on the stage before with seasoned actors. A lot of actors haven't had the life experience, you know, that to emote where we're going. But some people who haven't been on stage have.
You know, one of the things that I get impressed with the North of Market Tenderloin Business District organization is that they give a lot of room and space and embrace the arts. They also provide some performance space for your organization, don't they?
Oh yeah, we have a working relationship, as our bill says, in collaboration with the North of Market Tenderloin Community Benefits group. They have embraced what the totality, or in a whole, concept of cleaning up. Primarily, it was designed just to to clean up the streets and make sure everything was clear, add services to the neighborhood. But it became very clear that there was a lot more that needed to be involved in that change, and it was cultural. This truly is an art center. There's a renaissance happening right here. And as community members, residents and merchants see this change taking place, they want to be a part of it. Nobody wants to be left behind.
The Tenderloin is a community that has many challenges that precede this exhibition and of course will continue to exist after it's gone on November 15th. Nevertheless, we're seeing through the work of all of these artists how a community can kind of pull together and find some inspiration through the arts.
You can learn more about this exhibition at wonderlandshow.org. There you'll find a map of all 14 projects that are adding some color to an already colorful neighborhood.